Hello cake freaks, hello everyone, this is Graziella again from south of France, where I'm still running my business called Design Sucre. Welcome to this 5th episode of Ready Bake and Decorate, and this time we are going to be making some wafer paper tropical foliage. So we've got some monster leaves and some sort of like palm type of foliage, and they are going to fit our pretty Simbidim orchids that we've been making previously on episode 1. Was that 1? Yes, I think it was. Okay, and they will go all together on our final project on week 6, which will be in 2 weeks. So I can't wait to show you these pretty cool techniques. Again, this week we are using wafer paper because remember, this is all about mixing mediums and techniques. So after making some florist paste sugar flowers, we are now back on wafer paper foliage. So these are still individual leaves which you can play around with, and yeah, so let's get started and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we are going to need some templates. So I've printed 2 sizes of the same leaf. Apparently it comes from Rachel Brown Art. So Rachel Brown Art, thank you so much for these patterns. And I'm simply going to, so this is normal paper and nothing edible. I'm simply using them as a guide, as a template. So I'm going to cut around those and then I can transfer this pattern onto the wafer paper. So I'm going to keep obviously the inner lines, and I'm just going to trim these with my scalpel. Okay, so what I want is to transfer this on my wafer paper. So this is quite a thick one, thick but still flexible, and I'm going to try and get 2 out of these if possible. That'd be awesome. Just going to line it up with the edge here, and I'm going to trace it very quickly. Well, now what's left to do is cut them in with my scissors. I might keep like a little, you know, like a little somewhere to have like a stem. So I might keep something like this and see if it's of any use. So for these big monster leaves, I am using a 22 green wire, so 22 gauge green wire, and I'm putting a little bit of glue with my paintbrush along where I want the vein to be. It can be slightly curvy, and I've curved, like I've slightly bended my wire previously to match that sort of shape, and then just press it onto the wafer paper and make sure it sticks. So again, at this point you can add some more glue if you need. So yeah, just make sure it is really sticking to the wafer paper, because this is quite a big leaf and the wafer is quite thick, so you really want it to be attached really well. So you will notice later on in this video that for some reason airbrushing those monster leaves wasn't recorded. I don't know what happened, tech glitch or I don't know, but it just didn't work. So what I did is exactly the same as the palm tree leaves that you will see a little bit later on in this video. And I've just mixed the green and some yellow and airbrushed the whole leaf, and with the sort of humidity from the color, it will curl the leaves a little bit. So just play with it, airbrush front and back, and make sure they they can dry in a very natural shape using that moisture. So I wanted to cut some more tropical foliage. So my aim is to get little pieces like this one, small ones, like slightly bigger ones, and a lot bigger ones. So I'm lining up 3 sheets of water paper. This one is a lot thinner than the previous one, so I just line them up to cut like a lot more easily, like you can cut 3 at the same times. And I'm going to cut these leaves. Okay. So cut out a few leaves like this. I think I've got enough for now. If I need some more, we'll cut some more. But right at the minute, I've got plenty little leaves. I'm going to get rid of these because I'm not going to use that anymore. Okay, so now that you've got all these pretty little leaves, what we want is we want to have them on individual wires, because we need to assemble them all on plant, kind of big main leaves. So I'm using for the medium and biggest ones some 28 gauge wire, and then for the smallest one I'll probably use some 30 gauge wire. And I'm going to dip my wire in the glue and then get one of my leaves. So I probably need a little bit more glue, like further on the wire. And I'm going to press it on the wafer paper, like so. Just make sure it's aligned with, like it was a central vein, really. Probably need a little bit more glue. So if it was some competition work, I wouldn't be doing that, because normally they say that in the rules, they say that the wire can't, well, you shouldn't be able to see the wire. It'd have to be covered either with paste or the wafer paper, or just tape. Well, that's usually what they say. But for this purpose, we don't need to do it, obviously. So I'm going to do that on all of these, and then we'll come back to color them. I hope you're enjoying this tutorial. Let's take a small break. We are going to color these leaves. So I'm using some Spectrum Flow. This is the party green, and obviously I am using the really cool brush. So it's right here on the side. Try not to damage my leaves. Trimming a little bit these. So very easy to use, very pretty as well. Really like this one. So I'm going to take a little bit of colour, pop it in there. I'm going to check that it's working properly, which it is, no problem. Pop it back in there. And I want to see this green. This is the sage green. So I think I'm gonna go for a little bit of yellow instead. I'm back. I've just gone to clean my hands because all that green was really bothering me. So I'm gonna wear some gloves for the rest of the colouring, because I'm tired of having uncoloured ugly hands all the time. So I've got all my leaves here. I'm going to make some more, well, add some more colour in there. Okay, so I think that should be enough for now. And very quickly I'm going to get those coloured front and back. I want them more or less flat, so when you leave them to dry, just make sure you leave them to dry flat on a surface. At the minute I don't want too much movement. They will take a little bit of shape anyway. But remember, these ones are thinner, like this paper is a lot thinner, so it will absorb the color a lot more, and it will get a lot more wet as well, so just make sure it doesn't go all mushy. Okay, for now I've got everything I need. I'm just going to clean this up, okay, and get rid of those before I make a mess on my table, because that's kind of become a specialty with me. So I'm going to put those in the bin. Make sure all this is dry. I've got these two that broke, but I'm gonna fix them. I don't want to throw anything unless it's really ruined. I can't use it anymore. Otherwise I'm not throwing anything away. It. That one's quite not dry yet. This is dry. This is okay to me. This one is going to give me a bit of issues. That will do. Remove this. And I'm just going to make sure everything is nice and clean, so I'm taking a little bit of IPA and I'm just going to clean it up. It should be fine. Yeah, all good. I can remove these gloves, take the gloves off, and we can trim these a little bit because they did break because they were stuck to the table. So I'm going to trim whatever was broken, and they are brand new. So that's also the good thing with the wafer paper. It is that you can still cut it afterwards. So I have cleaned my airbrush and I'm going to go for I'm using some florist paste from Squire's Kitchen, and I'm going to color my paste in some orange. The reason why I'm picking orange is because I'm going to airbrush them slightly so we can have different sort of shades, and we can go from orange to red. So just to make it easy, pre-coloring in orange and then airbrushing in red. Obviously you could still, if you don't want airbrush or you don't have any airbrush, you could dust them, and that would work exactly the same. But I've got the airbrush out because I've used it for the leaves, so just gonna keep using it on the tropical berries. So I want this to be a lot more orange. So I'm going to add some more. This is an apricot tangerine color from Chic Flair. It is starting to look a lot more like I want it to look. So that will be my base color. And we can work on the berries now. So for these berries, I'm going to use some 26 gauge wire. You could also use some 20 depending on the size if they were smaller. And I'm going to make a small hook. So let me just show you in front of some white. So just a small hook right there. And we're going to keep them like super easy to make. A little bit of paste, size of a French petit pois. Dip the wire in, like the hook, in the glue and insert it. Pinch at the base where you've inserted the wire to secure your wire. Make it look nice and neat. If you want, you can twist in between your finger and thumb. Make sure it's sticking really well and remove the excess paste. Okay, and right at the top, using a small bowl tool, I'm going to just press and make a little indent to have something more of a, like a little berry shape. Okay, and we're going to make as many of these as we can, different sizes, but not too big. That would be the biggest ones, so I can make some slightly smaller ones, but They'll be roughly the same size, to be honest. I hope you are still enjoying this tutorial, and we are going to take another quick break, and I will be back with you in a few. So to assemble my tropical foliage, which I've got here, tons of little leaves, I'm going to use some 22 gauge wire. I think that should be sturdy enough, still pliable, but sturdy enough because these are very light. They're not like florist paste, which would be a lot more heavy. You can tell if you've got like a few issues with the wires and the glue. Obviously you can fix it at any point, like so. So what I want to do is take some very small ones. So I'm going to let me see what we've got in there. So I've got very small here, and I've got another quite small there. I think I've got much smaller. Yeah, I've got some very small ones there, and I'm going to assemble these together. So this is some half-width tape. Don't forget to stretch your tape. Come on, are you gonna stick? Yes, you are. Okay, make sure they're in the right direction, like so. And I'm going to keep adding some more leaves. I'm gonna take just a slightly bigger, like longer one. That's probably already too long, so try to find some that are not so long. Oh, that could work. Okay, and I'm going to add them to that tropical stem. Add another one right opposite to it. Need a bit more glue on this one. Right, I'm gonna add some more. that one there, and I can probably add another very big one. I think I'm done for this branch. So let me just put these back in place. That one was slightly lighter in colour, so I might just need to make it a little bit darker. That's it. So look at that tropical foliage. You can still arrange the top, but what do you think about it? Doesn't it look so cool and so real? I mean, it's gonna look fantastic with these around as well, and the orchids. Ooh, I can't wait to see that assembled on the cake. So I'm going to quickly make another branch. I think I'm done with these ones. How cool is that? It's going to look absolutely super gorgeous. I can't wait to actually see the final design myself, because I haven't assembled it yet, and I just can't wait. So I have finished assembling my leaves. I'm just going to pop them on there to show you what we've got. So we've got these two very pretty monster leaves, and then we've got these absolutely lovely little there's probably some sort of palm tree thing, but look at these. Aren't they just gorgeous? They got lots of movement. So this is what we've got, and it is going to fit our cymbidium orchids that we made the other day. So I'll just probably need these two to be slightly more green, because I forgot to do these two. That's it. Can you imagine how this is going to look on our final cake? This is going to be so pretty. I'm so excited about it, actually. So I just can't wait to show you. But as we've got mainly greens, so these leaves are all greens. The orchids, even if it's a different shade of green, it's still green. So we've got some red in the middle, like a very dark burgundy color, but I still want to add a little bit of color to our design. So we are going to work on a few super easy berries in a very bright orangey reddy color. Alright guys, this is time for our last advert break, so see you in a minute.
I have 3 questions for you. Do you love all things cake? Do you want to learn from some of the world's best cake artists? Do you want to be part of our growing community of over 200,000 members? Then get yourself over to cakeflix.com. We've got some amazing deals on right now. We offer a 365-day support plus the most amazing Q&A service. You can now view us on all the main streaming services. So what are you waiting for? Head over to cakeflix.com now and become part of the Cakeflix family.
For the smaller ones, I'm going to trim them just slightly, and I'm going to add some green at the base. So let's just do all the red first. So less red obviously because they're not as mature as the bigger ones. And this I'm going to do like just the one side and leave the other side a lot more orange. A little bit more color. Okay. So for the green on the berries, I'm going to use a mix of yellow and green again. You have like a light green, and then it more at the base. You can have a little bit at the top as well if you'd like, and then leave them to dry. So all of them will be slightly different. And the last one. And that's it for colouring the berries. So let's assemble them now. So now that we have our berries coloured, we are going to tape them. So I'm taking some florist tape and stretching it, and I'm going to use a 22 gauge wire And I kind of want them all packed at the top of that little branch. Because you know those tropical sort of berries, like, it's not really, they're not edible berries, but they're like decorative ones. And it comes in like a little bulk around the stem. So I'm going to add mulberries. And I'm adding them sort of by size. And I'm filling the little branch as I go. So I could have glazed them individually, I guess. If I was doing some competition work, I would glaze those berries individually. But as they're quite packed, I'll glaze them together at the end. Okay, so I'm building my little sort of branch. And everywhere I've got a gap, I'm adding a berry. And that's it. I've got my sort of little stem. So I could decide, because this is quite thick now, I could decide to chop these. I'll just trim them, which I can do. It'll just make your branch a little bit more realistic. So usually I'll be using my pliers or cutters, but they're already packed for a class, so they're not with me. So don't do that with your scissors. That's bad. I'm being very naughty. So you don't have to trim them all, but you know, just make them look a little bit more realistic. I'll probably add a few more berries to this one. Okay, a bit more tape. Okay, so that's it. We've got our lovely group of berries, and you can see the colors going from greens to oranges and to reds. So the last thing I want to do is to very slightly glaze that and give it more of a sort of very shiny berry tropical looking stuff. And that's it. So I'm still using some edible spray glaze, and I'll leave those to dry. Look at how pretty and cool they are. And obviously this is going to fit perfectly with the rest of our tropical design. Oh, this leaf needs a bit more glue. So see, that's the beauty of the wafer paper. It is that if you notice even afterwards that you've got like one wire that's not sticking, you can always add a bit more glue and stick it back on. And that's it. It is back on the leaf. Right. So I was showing you if I'm taking my foliage like so. And so I'm adding my Cymbidium orchid, and now I would be adding these very pretty berries, and I mean, look at how lovely this looks now. Let me try to pop that inside. Like so. Yep. So look how cool it looks. It looks super tropical and super pretty. Look at that. So as I was saying, for week 6, I'm going to be making a couple more of these, probably a few longer ones as well. And yeah, just like with a lot more green and going a lot more red. So that's it. That's it for today, guys. We have been making this amazing foliage. Look at that. Look at all these leaves. And we are going to use them in 2 weeks for our final episode of this 6-episode session, which was all about making and using different techniques, different mediums to achieve 2 different projects. So in 2 weeks, we will assemble all that we've been making those past 5 episodes, and we will assemble it on 2 designs. One that will be more of a tropical design, 1-tier design, and one that will be more of a magnolia with the painted magnolias and the sugar flowers on a double barrel cake. So I hope you stay tuned on Cake Flicks and join me again in 2 weeks. Until then, watch all the other amazing artists and have a lot of fun. Thank you again, Paul and David, for having me here. It's been a great pleasure and a great honor, and I can't wait to be back soon. Bye! Stay safe!